What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage. We're back out here on the old CJ today, and we finally made the decision on how we're going to get some tunes in this thing. Let me show you what I picked up, and then we're going to get it installed. Check it out. So you may have seen some of my other videos with some Kemi Moto products on the golf cart. I've had really good luck with their products. Everything has been high quality and good fit and finish. So I decided to go ahead and go with them again. This very nondescript box is actually a sound bar. It's a Bluetooth. It's got Bluetooth, USB, auxiliary, and it mounts to the roll bar up here. It's designed for like a UTV or something like that, but from what I've read, the brackets on here will fit my roll bar, so we're going to use it to power the Jeep. It's a lot easier than trying to put a radio and speakers and everything in here. I'm going to be able to tuck it in underneath the soft top where you can't really see it. I think that's the plan, at least. And I think it's going to work great. We use just a Bluetooth amp and speakers on the golf cart. When we're using it, we just drive it with our phones and we don't have any problems at all. So this is kind of the same idea. So we're going to do an unbox real quick and check out what we got and then try to get it installed up here. And then we've got to wire it in, of course. It needs some power. So let's get started. I'm working on the tailgate of the Jeep here because kind of got a lot going on in the garage with all the different projects. This is really the only open flat spot I can find. But I think we're going to make it work. So first of all, opening this thing up, it's got some really good foam padding. Very secure. Got some type of a bracket there. Couple more brackets. This is a 33-inch long speaker that also has 8 speakers total, 6 full-range and 2 tweeters. So it should give us good sound quality. It's not going to be a tremendous amount of bass just because there's not any room for subwoofers in this, but we don't really need it for a Jeep. It's going to be mostly just listening to some tunes. So get this thing uncovered here real quick. So it looks like we got a pretty nice setup. It's got controls here, and I think it also comes with a remote somewhere, maybe. Looks like it's got a cigarette lighter plug that you can hardwire. I'm probably just going to run hardwire directly to it, run it up the roll bar there and just kind of zip tie it in. I want to get this thing completely unboxed and set it out so we can look at it, and I'll be right back. Alright, I was able to find the remote. It does have a remote. It controls both the audio options, and then it has some LED lights in here so you can light it up. It has controls here on the face if you don't want to dig out the remote. Some very robust brackets, and then all the hardware, of course, to put those brackets on. So looking pretty good. I'm going to do some test fitting, try to figure out which way I want this thing to mount, and then we'll get it mounted up. All right, so the bar has a slot on the top and the bottom, so you can mount it either way. And what you're going to do is install one of these little nuts into these little sliders, and then you slide that into this notch. Just like so. A little stiff getting in there. There it goes. So you get all 3 of those in there, you position them where you want, and then you take these brackets here and you bolt it directly to it like that. So I'm going to get those put together, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, these are the little bolts that you use for the brackets themselves. You want to make sure you do. You can see it there, the lock washer and the regular washer. Goes in there, bolts that way. Even comes with a little Allen key to do it. I'm going to get all 3 of these installed, and then we'll go on to the next step. All right, we ran into a small snag. I don't know if it's obvious on this video, but the bar has a bit of a bow to it. It goes up and then back down. You can see there. So I could not use the 3 brackets. I can only use 2. But I tightened them up real tight. It does not move. It's got little rubber grippies that go inside the brackets. If it starts moving down, I'll figure something else out, maybe move it behind us, but I just didn't want it like right here behind our heads. So I put it up there, and then that way when I put the soft top on, it'll come over the top of that and kind of hide it, so it's not so obvious that it's up there. Next, I'm going to undo all of these wires and kind of route them all down into the tub, and then figure out where I'm going to get power from. I haven't decided yet if I want to put it on a switch or if I want to put it switched from the key. Ideally, switched from the key would be good because that means you can't accidentally leave it on. But if you wanted to sit, you know, at the park and listen to radio or something like that without the key on, running the main battery down, then having it on a switch would be more beneficial. And I don't think I'm smart enough to run a relay to do both. So I'll have to make the decision on that. But for now, I'm just going to get these wires tidied up, and we'll see how it looks. All right, I didn't have long enough zip ties to handle this wire just yet, so I ordered some of those, but I went ahead and threw the top on because I wanted to see how this fit. This is a best top replacement top, fits pretty good. Has the sound bar tucked in underneath it. I'm really liking that look because from a distance, you can't even really tell it's there. It's not hanging down and obvious. You really have to look for it. I think that will help deter people trying to steal it or trying to mess with it. I've decided we're going to go ahead and connect it switched to the accessory fuse circuit. It's a 20 amp circuit on the Jeep, and the light bar or the sound bar only uses 8 amps. And the only other thing on that circuit is this cigarette lighter slash USB that's just 2 or 3 amps. So that should be plenty to stay under the rated amperage for the circuit. And it'll make the sound bar turn on and off with the key, so we don't run the risk of leaving it on. So that's going to be the plan. Once I get the zip ties and I'm able to get this nice and pretty, I'm going to run them down this bar and then along underneath the door here, under the dash, and then connect it to that, basically that red wire that's hanging right there. Once we get that done, we can knock this one off the list. I did do a quick and dirty wire job just straight to the battery with the supplied wires just to fire this thing up and get a listen for it. And it's amazing. It's got way more bass than I anticipated. It's very loud, and considering it's right above your head, we will not have any problem hearing this with wind noise going down the highway. It's going to be amazing. It sounds really good. I'm really impressed with the quality and the fit and finish of this thing. It's got a nice heft to it. It feels like a quality piece. It feels like it's got some nice components inside, and it has a really good sound. Kemi Moto come through with this one, and it's awesome. You guys should buy one. All right, guys, we got some progress on the tunes for the CJ. I got the thing installed as you saw earlier in the video. I went ahead and zip tied in the wires, run it down the roll cage here where it's nice and pretty. Dropped it through the fender right there. Cut over and dropped it in under the frame. You can see back there. Run it along a fuel line, a hard fuel line to the front. Brought it up into the firewall, and then underneath the dash, and connected it to the same wires that control this. Used to be the cigarette plug, is now a dual USB. And the reason I did that is because it switched with the key, and it's a 20 amp circuit. This sound bar, per the booklet, only pulls 8 amps. And that USB thing may pull 3 if you're charging 2 phones fast charge. So that's plenty of amperage to cover that circuit without blowing the fuse. And when you turn the Jeep off, soundbar turns off. So if I turn this on here, see it lights up, everything works. And then when you turn the key off, it shuts off. So you don't have to worry about leaving it on, running your battery down. This one's good. Mark this one off the list. We now have tunes. Oh, I finished it off with this cool little radio delete plate I found. It just covers that nasty hole in the dash, And you could even put like switches or something in there if you wanted, but for now it's just covering the hole. So I like that a lot. Knock that radio off the list. Yep. Thank you guys for hanging out with me here in the shop. This is another big one on the list. We now got some tunes and we got some protection from the brutal sun here in Texas. That was a 2-for-1 project, and I'm really happy with the results. If you guys enjoy this content, you enjoy hanging out with me, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. You can hit that like button and then you'll get notifications when I upload new videos. I've still got a few more projects left on this old CJ. So if you like the CJ project, please be sure to subscribe. That's going to wrap this one up for now, guys. You have a good one and rock on.